السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم، والحمد لله رب العالمين. Do you want to read it?
Sure.
As false position.
So we're reading from the reasonings. We're on page 16, under the section of a false supposition and a reminder.
Yeah, you know where we are? Page 16.
If you claim that a person can have knowledge of certain basic principles and laws of all sciences, I will reply as follows. You are right and you are wrong. In theory, this seems to be possible, but knowing something does not mean knowing it theoretically and superficially. So let me just read that again.
Yeah.
If you claim that a person can have knowledge of certain basic principles and laws of all sciences, I will reply as follows. You are right and you are wrong. In theory, this seems to be possible, but knowing something does not mean knowing it theoretically and superficially. There are certain principles and laws that must be known in all their aspects. These pertain to all times, conditions, and people, and they are different from one another. They are also of such a form that in them are reflected many laws and principles of other sciences. In addition, one must understand them with their practicability or the optimal degree of use in every condition and section of time. No one, however intelligent a genius they may be, can discover or establish these laws and principles. The same word can be uttered by two persons, but one may display his or her ignorance by doing so, while the other demonstrates knowledge.
This paragraph is important only if we know the general content of the Quran. General content of the Quran refers to many aspects of human life. But of course, the Quran is everybody knows it, is not a science book. So we will expect from the Quran to explain what the content of the science covers. Biology, physics, chemistry, sociology, this kind of subjects, mathematics. We don't expect the Quran to talk about this because Quran, by its own definition, is a speech of the Creator which guides human beings to the meaning of this world, this existence, and their own existence. By definition. The Quran doesn't speak how the universe works, or the speech of God is not expected to explain how can I do the farming, how can I do industry, how can I do technology, produce technology. Here is the word, that's the order of the world requires human beings to investigate it. Not, but when you discover, for example, the fastest means of transportation, it doesn't mean that you have fulfilled the purpose of your life. That's why you are here. Are you here to turn, as the classical alchemists were expected to do, turn the earth into gold? What are you going to do with it? So if you go from one place to another as fast as possible, what is the benefit for the purpose of your existence? But if you speak to somebody on the spot rather than sending a letter by horse riders, the postman, the classical way, waiting for 1 week to arrive there for the person who's expected to receive the letter. It takes 1 week, and returning the news back another week. So instead of doing that, on the spot, I got the response. What is the point? As far as the purpose of your existence is concerned, not as far as the life conditions of human beings on earth. But purpose of the existence is concerned, these are irrelevant. Whether you go slowly or you go fast, you have to ask yourself, what am I expected to do in this world? It's meaningless. Because, I went from one place to another in a minute. And when you die, that I have fulfilled my purpose of existence. It is ridiculous because it turns out to be nothing. Bearing this aspect of the divine speech, what we understand from Sharia, yes, giving a guidance in general about one's social interactions, but mainly in a social life, you expect that if human beings cannot really find out the ideal principles for his social life, it means connection with other creatures, connection with other human beings physically, not emotionally, not theoretically, but physically. If we look at the Sharia, it provides us with a very general principles. The most important of it is equality between human beings and freedom, open-mindedness. The human beings must be free, but of course, within the physical conditions of this life, human beings must be free. Not necessarily that to do anything they want. Now, of course, but this is a very minor, very minute matter that the Quran deals with. Very minor. You can, negligible. You can just ignore it. 2%, 3% side. The rest is about what? The rest of the Quran tells about the meaning of life, purpose of life, the rest. We shouldn't block the way. Come this way or here. Come next to me. I like. So take this one. When the people come in, and give it to me. That one. Here. So can you, if you don't mind, can you just pull it here so the people can go? I said you too. Yeah. And take this one away. Sorry.
I will.
So no, it's all right. Away. Chair also. Put it away. So the people can move in and out easily. So there should be no way to really. Okay.
I got
So mostly what we expect from divine speech, guidance from God, guiding my humanity, my human side. How can I make my life meaningful? How can I benefit from the existence of this world in order to make sure that what is my position in this existence, who I am in this existence, who is the owner of this existence, and how can I deal with the existential side of the things so that my emotions, my feelings will be satisfied about my reality, which is the reality of my existence. That is the main point. I am sure I am here sent by somebody who takes care of me. I am not the result of random happenings, accidents. And I have all these enormous, endless feelings, and these feelings require to be satisfied in order to fulfill the purpose of their existence. I can feel comfortable about my being in this world. Although this world has many contradictions, these contradictions help me understand my reality. What are they? For example, I want stability, but the universe doesn't have stability. It is always changing. And I want eternal life and existence. I don't want to lose my existence. This world says, no, you cannot exist in this world according to the conditions of this world. Nothing of this world can protect you from falling into non-existence, going away. It means death. Nothing. But my emotions become very depressed, disappointed, if I just refer my existence to the world only. My human feelings become depressed. So, my creator, by definition, because if the scriptures, divine speech, is from my creator, it must give me a direction, a way of understanding the reality of this creation. How can I communicate with it? How can I make my future secured, future of existence? How can I be sure that I am in the hands of a merciful, considerate provider, creator? So I am the product of this conscious, intelligent, wise creator. So I belong to him. All the Quran, if you carefully read it, but don't read it as a storybook. If you carefully read it, if you get a little bit training how to read the Quran, you don't have to be an expert, but at least by definition, you have to know what you are reading. You have to know what are you expected from what you are going to expect from the text to learn. At least minimum, we have to learn this. if you read the Quran as a storybook, what is the meaning of it? And maybe I always make this comparison. 1001 Arabian Night stories may be more exciting. Really. Here the Quran tells me, I don't know, but I am very much amazed by the story of Noah, by the story of Solomon. Of course, everybody knows the story of Moses is very exciting, but what is missing from the points of the people who read the story of Solomon, story of Noah, are more exciting than the story of Moses. But it is not common because they do not interpret it, and they don't know what. Usually, they are not known how to understand them. What?
Close the door.
No, we can't. This room doesn't belong to us. Sit here for a purpose, because there is a class here. We don't want to disturb the class. It's going to be, not now. That's why. Okay. So move. You can move a little bit. We have to learn, at least fundamentally, we have to learn how to interpret these stories and apply it to our practical life. Right? For example, have you ever thought that Belksus, the queen of Seba's crown, or what is that, crown?
Crown, yes.
Yeah, not crown. To sit on it, crown, is it?
Throne.
Throne. Yeah.
Throne. No, say it again. Throne. I say throne, not throne. So throne. In less than a second. Bring it from a far distance to here. What is the point? What shall I do with it? What shall I do with it? I am a telepathist or something. What am I going to do with it? Bringing the throne from one place to another so fast that takes a fraction of a second. The Quran is talking about it. We have to think, we say, if the definition is right, very simple, actually, from one aspect, as the text says, your question has two answers, yes and no. From it's very simple if you keep in mind that this text trains my feeling, practically, personally, myself. It is for me only. But for others, let them think about themselves. But am I going to be an expert in science of transportation? They call it, how do they say, make the metals into atoms or something and then transfer this. They call it meta something. Do you know that? They are trying, if it works, sorry?
Metaphysics?
No. Your body is here. They are trying to understand if it is possible to make it into something like waves and then transfer it to another one, like you receive your email. So quick, and metal transportation. Maybe it is possible within the conditions of this world, but it is not my purpose. If I do that, do you think it will help me to secure my existence? No, I succeeded. The greatest thing that can ever happen. No, and you die, the universe says your end of your life is 0. What are you going to do? It doesn't help because it doesn't fit into the purpose of the speech of God that we expect from my Creator, if it is my Creator, to give security, to give comfort to myself. Right? And when I do this, it doesn't give me comfort. That I still am worrying about my future. So if we apply this principle very seriously, so think about it. Why is your Creator speaking in this way? What is He trying to teach me as a human being? Not as a scientist, as a human being. It may have some references to the scientists to investigate that it is possible to transfer the body so quickly, like an email or whatever you say, whatever you call it, I don't know the technical name for it, waves. In a fraction of a second, you receive it. But it may be of interest for some people, for professional purpose. Car makers, I don't know, spacecraft makers may be interested in it. But as a profession, not like the farmer. Farmer may be interested in learning how to make most of the soil or land they have in order to have more corn, more wheat or whatever harvest. But it's just profession. It doesn't give any security to human inquiry to secure their life. So we have to say, no, even the one who is scientist is interested in this side of this side of the Quranic teaching that said you can do this, it is possible. Teletransportation or something like that. There is a technical word for it. I remember reading the people think that it is possible, but we don't know how to make it. It must be possible.
Teleportation.
Sorry?
Teleportation.
Teleportation. What?
Teleportation.
Portation. Teleportation.
Like.
Yeah. This is now in the science fictions, but we know that some things were in science fiction novels last century, they are real now. You never know. It may be real next century. We don't know. But it is not, even that person is expert on it who realizes that get the Nobel Prize, still he worries about his future. Still he worries about his future. Why? Okay, I did this. So what? After the age of 65, they send me to retirement, and then from retirement to hospital, from hospital to graveyard. Isn't that the reality? Then we make a lot of money out of the old people. Medicine. They live on medicine. Said pharmacist. So this is good for your world benefit. We have to understand, really, it is very simple. From one aspect, it is very simple to read the Quran and benefit from it. If you know the principles, only principles, and do some sort of exercise. That's what we are doing in this class. Because there is no movement. The one is nice, it's more comfortable. Here.
I think it's, you touch it.
Get closer to it. That's put it on. Yeah.
Because nobody's moving, I guess.
Sorry?
Because nobody's moving.
Yeah. It is motion sensor. So If the room is not in use, that there is the power turns off here. But if you don't know the principle, you start, we will read in the text, very important points will be mentioned in the text. It is the text that we are going to read is not very dense as usually is in this in the author's writing, but this text is that we are going to read is not very dense compared to others. So it will mention this point. Inshallah, when we come there, we will talk about it. So you can maybe think about it and learn one aspect of life and analyze human psychology from one perspective, but you cannot really know all aspects of human life, especially all aspects of human life related to the change of time. For example, 7th century people need a guidance according to their conditions. About guidance about what?
Their existence.
Yeah, about how to make secure their existence. And not the 7th century, but 17th century people need their guidance at the background of their accumulated culture, civilization. And 21st century now, we need our guidance according to the background of our knowledge that we are taught by the society. So this guidance must be valid for all centuries, for all human conditions, if it is a divine guidance, by definition. Divine guidance cannot be restricted to life conditions of certain people if this divine guidance says, okay, I am for the children of Israel, not all the whole world, not all for all the world. For example, the guidance Moses received for children of Israel. Guidance Jesus received for, again, children of Israel. But the others may benefit from it, but restricted. But fundamentals are the same. As the Quran says, fundamentals are the same. We don't make any difference between the prophets as far as the fundamentals of human concern. But practical side may differ according to the life conditions. So the Quran says, I am for good now until the end. So what we expect from him, it must be valid, its presentation must be valid until all centuries that we can imagine. But at least as far as we are concerned, it must be valid, although it was revealed on the 7th century, it must be valid on the 21st century as well, as it claims to be. That's what it claims. I am good. That's it. So we have to read the divine guidance under this principle and necessarily interpret it, but not necessarily interpret it, not because we couldn't make it so that we have to find a way to interpret it in this way or another way. But the definition of the Quran makes us or forces us to interpret it in a way that I can get an answer to my existential questions. I have to interpret it, which is appropriate to the purpose of my existence. Got it? So we have to say, what is it to do with me? Anything you read in the Quran, why do you mention right? Why do you mention that to me? So the Prophet David, as it is narrated in the Quran, it made glorification sounds, uttered glorifications, and the repercussions, the echoes came back from the mountains. And physically, yes, it is the case, but you don't have to be a prophet to experience this. Get it? Everybody, every shepherd knows the ecosystem between the valley and the mountain and the hills. It really, the architects also know how the voice echoes if a certain shape is given to the architecture of the building. But it doesn't require any divine guidance. From practical life, we learn it. And what is the point now? What is the point? Echoing. These are very important questions. I'm not going into details because I'm amazed with the prophet's stories of the prophet in the Quran, interpreting it as an answer to human inquiry. I'm really. But just apply one principle, very careful. How can I apply it to my life? Okay. Oh. Okay. Inshallah. Oh, we lost. Let me see this one. No. I did something. There was something hidden. I didn't turn it off. Yeah. You didn't use F3, did you?
No.
What did you use this magic?
It's the power of Sulaiman.
Yeah. So, in order to guide the people, you don't have to know the present time, but also you need to know as a human being what the future is going to bring. Yeah. Well, this one, use the other one as well. Yeah. Put up. It was longer. Yeah. That's it. It is all. Mm-hmm. We will come to this point again. There we can discuss this. We can continue if you have no more question. Any question?
I had a question.
Yeah.
I interpreted this when it says that it is it is possible that a person can have knowledge of, basic principles of all sciences, that, within their potentiality, it exists, but that, practically to really know something in its proper depth, and in a way in which that knowledge is applicable to all conditions of all times, it's not possible for a human being.
Yeah, that's what the answer says.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can say yes, we can say no, because as far as the capacity of human potentiality, it is possible, but practically, we don't experience any such thing. Sure, someone may know physics and also may have a general understanding of chemistry, mathematics, maybe. especially the old scholarship, the philosophers or the scholars used to be an expert on quite a number of 4, even 5 subjects. But it doesn't mean that they knew the details. The details. The second, they knew the future. They can learn. They can know what the future will bring. That from this aspect it is no. From another aspect it is yes. Then your potentiality is able to do that. Okay. Anything more? So when we say that, for example, Quran says we made it very easy for you. ويسرنا القرآن. We made it very easy for you to understand the Quran, which is interesting. If you listen to the general public, it's not very easy. You have to learn Arabic, you have to learn literature, Arabic literature, you have to learn eloquence, balagha, which is called, and you have to learn methodology of tafsir, you have to learn methodology of others, hadith, etc. It takes lifetime. And no one is really able nowadays, especially to do this. So practically we know what's going on. If you know Arabic, if you recite the Quran in the best way, and if you know some fiqh principles which are static. And fiqh principles are static. Yeah, for example, let's say if you say that 5 times a day prayer, it is 5 times a day prayer in 7th century, it is 5 times a prayer in the 5th century, that the morning prayer is 2 rakah, 2 units, whatever the century you are, morning prayer is 2 units, and the other fiqh rules are static. It is very easy, and you don't have to know it. If you need it in your practical life, you can ask a scholar and a specialist and learn it. This is not the purpose of the Quran, to teach, because it doesn't itself really mention much about them, any of them. It doesn't give, the Quran doesn't give any details. But we make it into details because we reduced religion to practical side only, not the theoretical side. So it is difficult to, now, in this sense, to learn, they call it now religious sciences, religious knowledge. If you know fiqh, you are the expert and you are the sheikh. Now, this is the culture in general, fiqh rules, principles, how to do the things, etc. That makes you into a sheikh. It means community leader. But it's not the purpose of the Quran. Yeah, one person or two people may be expert on it is enough. It's not the purpose of the Quran.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not the purpose of the Quran. Purpose of the Quran is to speak to everyone without any Arabic knowledge, without any knowledge of fiqh rules, which is called jurisprudence. Speaks to everyone, even illiterate people can benefit from it by hearing, by listening, and just getting a general impression about the subject. General. In this sense, it's very easy. But you must guess, I and you, well, we must guess. Why, although in which case the Quran is very easy? Say, condition one.
Human being. You have to be a human.
Use your human qualities. So accept that your creator is speaking to your human qualities. Number one. Yeah. Number two, you have to bother, question about the purpose of your existence. Number two, question purpose of your existence. Number three, you have to define, when you read the Quran, what the Quran is. The speech of God is. What is expected of it? Yes. What are we expecting from the Quran? And then number five. No, number four. Number four. I have to clean as much as possible. It is not absolutely possible most of the time from my previous understanding of the world of life and the values imposed on me by the civilization. Without realizing, I take them definitely true as granted. Take them as granted, for granted that they are true, right? For example, in this life, the people ask you first, enough, it's a way of introduction, but what is your profession, what do you do, what is your material life conditions, physical life conditions. No one asks you, what is your understanding of existence? How are you? So my name is Ali, and okay, can you tell me, why do you live in this world? What's the purpose in living in this world? Rather than saying, what do you do? It's a question, isn't it? Have you ever seen anybody asking this to me, to you? I have never seen it. No.
You wouldn't have many conversations.
Sorry?
You wouldn't have many conversations.
No, it stops there. People never thought about it, never think about it. So if you study the Quran, for example, if you see a word which may be a difficult word, rarely used word in the Quran, and if you ask, do you know the meaning of this word? You start conversation. You say, I don't know, what does it mean? Or the root of it is, it comes from the derivation of something, and it means that during the prophetic time, the Bedouin Arabs used to have this meaning, and they used to mostly apply it to their relationship with their camels on desert life. So they used to call this one like this. The Quran's the word in the Quran must refer to it. I'm not a Bedouin. What am I going to do with it? I don't have this thing. So do you think Quran speaks to a certain category of people in a certain age? So you cannot really continue. Sorry, you can continue the discussion and you say, I know, but you don't know. But what benefit you get from it? As the main purpose of the Quran is concerned, you don't really. Not really, but you have to use it. If you are an expert on this subject, you have to use it as a material, as a data for you, to transfer it into the interpretation, into the meaning of your life purpose. Now you can transfer it. Do you understand? But if you are not an expert on grammar, Arabic grammar, because most of the people encourage people in order to communicate with the Quran, to be able to communicate with the Quran, you have to learn Arabic. Yeah? If you learn Arabic a little bit, it helps. It doesn't help at all. Yeah, you can learn the meaning from a book. Get a commentary book and look what's the derivation of the word is. It's not a great deal. But still, what are you expected? To refer it to your life. So the definition of the Quran is a must. Expectation from the teachings of the divine word from your God is completely different. When you establish these stages, but it doesn't need a scholarship. It needs only a clever mind.
Would you also add within these steps, bringing my experiences and interactions with creation, with the universe around me, when reading?
Yeah,
Correct.
that is correct. That is included in the definition of the Quran, which means the divine guidance must come from the creator of the world, speaking to me as a creator of the world. So he must speak to me through two ways, at least two, as creating the world, demonstrating his abilities, giving the messages to you through his actions, and speaking to you in a verbal sense, verbal way, and then verbally to explain the meaning of what he's doing. Right? That is very rare. This understanding of this approach is very rare. For example, I don't want to compare, but I can ask there. Have you ever heard this? No, I don't want to mention the name. It's very rare. Very, very rare. Yes. I remember reading one source we can mention, actually. I mean, not we can mention. I don't want to mention any name here. A person, apart from the author of this book, doing this kind of interpretations by relating the Quran and the creation together. But he is not a very famous and he is not a very welcome scholar among the general public. Why? Because he is not speaking to the already existing concepts of the minds of the people. So it is revolutionary. So it is always difficult to accept this radical change in one's understanding. That's why we said the fourth requirement in order of the understanding of the Quran, benefiting from the Quran, to free random action. No, so not random. Ransom. Not ransom. Redeem. Sorry, this is the word. To redeem yourself from the influence of the prevalent culture, because it is not really based on the teaching of the Quran at all. At all. Although it has some humanitarian aspects, but this humanitarian aspect of this civilization doesn't really give a dimension to your existence as far as the purpose of your existence is concerned. But they give a better, for example, non-selfish activities that you can perform in this world than selfish people do, materialist people do. That is better, but still it doesn't help you. Humanitarian values doesn't help you build up your security for your existence. You can be a good person, do a lot of good activities, charitable activities, and you can be comfortable. Of course, it's not contradicting to do these actions in this world, but it doesn't provide you with the security for your existence. You still think that I'm going to die and finish. Only the revelation, divine guidance, teaches you what to do with these actions to humanitarian senses. And the divine guidance gives security for your existence. But what we do is most of the time what is happening in the world, take the divine guidance as far as our life conditions are concerned within this world to have a better, comfortable life as far as our life is concerned here. And refer the result to the hereafter. That's very general attitude. You will do this, you will do this. The humanitarian people say you will die as a good man. Religious people say you will die as a good worshiper of God so that you will receive your benefit in the hereafter. Not the benefit is not here. Reward is not here. People, the difference. So humanitarianism, religious is better, but it doesn't make it still you feel comfortable in your existence while you are here before you go to the next creation. It doesn't exclude the next creation. It doesn't exclude it, but it doesn't really secure. Can you ask this gentleman? So that if we stay here until 6:30,
12:30.
12:30, and not what 6:30, 12:30. He was the organizer until 12:30, but we will give them brownies. We will bribe them. Okay, that one.
We were wondering if we could continue our lesson 12:30, offer brownies,
To you as a bribe.
No, we don't need your brownies, Charlie. You can.
No, I know that. Yeah, but 12:30.
Okay.
In this corner only.
Okay. Well, is it okay if I talk? Actually, no. It will distract.
Of course,
No,
you
no.
will. No.
You continue your program.
No, I mean
as
you
per
can
usual.
you can have a party here. I could care less. I'm just saying we're just gonna get started, Charlie. That's okay. Otherwise, if you want, I can wait. I'm just not doing anything until 12:30.
But if the people come here, we don't want to disturb your program for today.
Like,
It's up to
can
you.
continue your program.
However you feel it, but as a favor, because they are left over, we can offer the people come here.
You tell me what you want me to do.
Okay,
I respect you.
take it.
No, I won't. Okay, yeah. Food
That
will
is
be good. I will
somebody
take it,
for
but
the people who come here. And both of you do it. Yeah. So just today everywhere is closed. Yeah.
yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Come on.
I'm pleased to meet you. Do you teach the class?
I teach the class.
Yeah, if you don't, yeah, you can continue.
No. I respect you. You're older than me, so I have to
No,
listen
no,
to whatever
no.
you say.
Thank you very
Inshallah, I'll
much.
wait till 12:30.
So,
Don't worry.
ladies as well, inshallah. Thank you, Omar.
I bet.
Thank you
No
very much.
problem. No, I'm good. I can't eat. No, I have to.
Don't just leave there. Whoever comes, they can take it. Leave there and ask them, serve. Tell them, anyone comes there, they can take it. But otherwise, they don't. Okay? Yeah, put them there, but tell them that the people can. Tell them. Yeah. They should offer the people. Otherwise, it will stay there and really no one will take them if they are not offered.
We'll tell them when we are leaving.
Tell this brother now.
He told me put them in the table here when the people
So,
come. They can't have.
When the people come, he
Yeah.
should offer them.
Yeah,
Take one.
I told him that.
I said, okay. Then.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, it is arranged. Bismillah. Now, I think this section, the paragraph you read, inshallah, is okay. Okay? We can continue reading.
An indication, guidance, and a reminder. O brothers and sisters who have continued traveling together with me from the beginning of this book, look with a broad view and reflect, and form a high council in your mind in order to reason properly. Then summon whichever of the 12 premises in the first part of this book you wish to consult. You can also consult the following principles.
Okay. Let's concentrate on the following principle. Because it's just giving a reference. It's not really introducing anything.
So the following principles. A person cannot be a specialist in more than 1 or 2 or 3 sciences.
That's the summary of what we read. Yeah. So we can pass.
The same word uttered by 2 persons may vary in purpose, meaning, content, and several other aspects.
We have not talked about this. The same word. The same word. It means if the conveyor of the message, it means divine guidance, which is messengers. Now, the person, if he's a real messenger, the messenger must, by definition, speak with confidence. Definitely, because it's not my fault. So, if you present something as your view, you say, I think, right? I think it seems to be, but I cannot guarantee what will happen next century. Right? So you understand that this is a personal view, but another person says it's not my view, it is the guidance from the creator of the whole universe. So what I do only to convey the message to you, and it must be by definition sure. You can challenge me. The nature of the revelation of the Quran, which is very famous, everybody talks about it, 23 years. Do you remember what you have told about 23 years ago? If you are 23 years, maybe I can see this. Are you older than 23? Or are you a child, maybe? Okay, so do you remember anything? What your worldview was building up 23 years ago? Your sentences, your 23 years, all of them?
No.
Did you have the same idea?
Of course
23 years ago?
Completely the opposite.
So you said, the prophets say, look, I have received a sentence, which is called in English verse, from the creator of the universe. It said this, it is eternally valid. What? How do you know? Well, it's not my idea. It's not my thought. It's not my production. It is the word of the creator who encompasses time and space at the same time, all of it. It's the creator of the whole universe. Can you imagine that the creator of this universe arranged the order, a changing order, which will be consistent for billions of years? It must be from the very beginning, people produce or introduce many theories about the creation, the beginning of creation, or whatever. it is developing always in the best way, but the fundamental principles never change. We have to be very careful. Yeah. For example, gravity, I'm not a technician, expert on this physics subject, but gravity caused by matter pulls it, draws the things in the matter. Am I right? No.
I mean, I don't know if there's any actual explanation for gravity.
Yeah, what
Other
is
than its
I don't know,
observation.
whatever. But from the very beginning of everything, all the principles of the world, the existing universe, is the same, constant, never change. Yeah. Even before matter exists, energy, whatever they call it, every principle was in it. And the principle is applied every time in a different manner. But the same constants continue. Right? Only the one who gives existence to the universe, who has the knowledge or view of the whole time and space at the same time. And this one is speaking in the divine speech. If it is true, you must have a full confidence. You must have a full confidence, because you are not the source of the knowledge you're transferring. You are only a messenger, taking the message, transferring to the people. That's why in the revelation, the revelation of the period of the Quran, the first sentence introduced to the people never changed until the end. And the same principle was in it. Same principle. The very famous, everybody must have heard of it, maybe at least once a week. Read in the name of your Creator. The last verse, after 23 years later, includes the same principle. We have to act in the name of the Creator. Never change. Constant. So the fundamental teachings of the Quran never changed from the beginning to the end, so that the human, as you said, in your example, maybe specific your example to you, you have changed your ideas maybe 180 degree on the opposite side.
Yes.
Somebody may say, no, but I'm developing. Yeah. I am improving, learning better and better and better. Got it?
Okay.
Somebody may say this, but still change. Not a radical change, but still development. In the teachings of the Quran, do you see any development of the perception of existence? But it follows the principles. It follows the principles of existence, realities, and also the meaning. The existence of the universe itself refers to the same fundamental principles are always preserved. Nothing is changed. But for the practical, physical side of human life, if the people are not ready to put into practice something, it wasn't mentioned. It wasn't mentioned. They say the Quran, that's another problem. But I don't accept that anything changed in the Quran. Yeah. um, it doesn't make sense. I'm thinking of a word which is very famous technical word.
Abrogation.
Obligation. It doesn't make sense. But the conditions are adjusted. But there should be no obligation by definition in the Quran. But the teaching gradually is the principle. Human beings, for example, if you don't believe in the creator of the universe as the omnipotent one and absolute one, how can you believe that there will be an eternal life and resurrection? So believe in the absolute quality of the creator must be the primary to the teachings of the existence of the hereafter, like this one. So it is not an obligation, but it is a development in a human, according to human capacity, in their understanding of the meaning of the creation. Because, for example, if somebody has not attended the primary school, can you start teaching him mathematics at the high school level or college level? Can he understand anything? No. So he must have some basis, and Quran provides it. This is a gradual teaching. It is very real, everybody. And every human being accepts this, and no one rejects it. Every human being goes through this gradual education. All of us. And even the religious people, non-religious people, everybody follows this. And reality is so obvious. Quran also teaches in this way. Gradual education, following the gradual development of human capacity. Got it? So the text says, of course, the same word, same sentence may be uttered by someone, may be completely different from another one, another person. Okay. Do we understand this? That the prophets always speak with certainty, not with an hesitation, saying that, look, as far as I understand now, for all the scientists and the philosophers, how do they think? How do they speak? Now, at this stage, we found this. Tomorrow, we don't know what we will find. But for this is the result. We got it. Yeah. Okay.
Sciences develop through studies and research. They support one another over the course of time.
Yeah. I mean, we know the material science, not necessarily materialist science, material, physical science. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It develops by benefiting from the previous generation's knowledge or discoveries. You use the previous generation's discoveries in order to understand, in order to go one step ahead. Yeah.
Something known today by everybody as a fact may have been only a theory in the past, and something known by civilized people may have been unknown to uncivilized ones.
Do you understand? The text is clear. Yeah. And you may know as a college student or I don't know, education, and the other person may be living in the same geographical area, but let's say he has not been educated, may not know what you know. It's quite not, yeah.
Comparing the past with the present and the future is misleading.
As far as the physical side is concerned. Okay.
The simplicity of desert people cannot tolerate the cunning and deceptiveness of a civilized person.
They don't know how to play the game. Especially if you go to a group of people or a dwelling place, a village in Africa, they are so frank. They may have something, but not the people like in Wall Street. They don't. Oh, yeah, really, you cannot compare. Okay.
Deception can conceal itself under the veil of civilization.
Yeah, they legitimize it. Yeah, they legitimize it by laws and under the veil of civilization. We are developing. They legitimize it. Deception can conceal itself. Yeah, it's legal. They make it legal. Their tricks, but in a subtle way, not an obvious way. Okay.
Customs and events suggest and imply such things that they may cause many branches of knowledge to be formed. Customs and events suggest and imply such things that they may cause many branches of knowledge to be formed. Human sight cannot encompass the future.
Yeah, that is another point. Human sight cannot encompass the future. Right.
The laws made by humanity do not last long. They have a natural lifespan.
Yeah, of course. You know the American Constitution have many amendments. Yeah. It's expected.
The environment formed of time and space has a great influence upon humans. Many things which were extraordinary in the past may be ordinary in the present.
These are all still in physical sense. Looking at the Sharia from physical life perspective. Okay.
Many things which were extraordinary in the past may be ordinary in the present, for the preliminary conditions and foundations for their comprehension may have long been prepared. Any intelligence, however sharp it is, cannot suffice for a branch of science to be formed and perfected. For how can it suffice for more than one science to be formed?
Okay, I think since people are waiting for us, we can stop here. As far as the teachings of the Quran is,
What suffices?
Suffices. How can it be enough?
Okay.
yeah. Now, one person cannot be cannot have the right to say the ultimate word in any science subject. If 1 decade later it changes, develops, so you cannot go to the deep end. I think they are waiting for us. Let's not annoy them. So today is the 27th. Yeah, inshallah, next week we will continue from here. There is something to take it seriously. Let's keep it very concise and finish it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم الحمد لله رب العالمين.